President Muhammadu Buhari and other African heads of government discussed silencing the guns at the ongoing 33rd summit of the African Union in Addis Ababa. And back home, security agents record more successes in dealing with the Ansar terrorist group and others. These and more as we bring to you this Monday's edition of Panorama. I'm Ian Ray John. Welcome. Heads of state and government of the 55-member countries of the African Union have begun intensive deliberations aimed at silencing the guns towards creating conducive conditions for sustainable development on the continent. This is in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, at the summit of the African Union, 33rd in its series. President Muhammadu Buhari is leading Nigeria's delegation to the event. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
Silencing the guns, creating conducive conditions for Africa's development is the African Union theme for the year 2020. The initiative is a flagship project of Africa's Agenda 2063, aimed at achieving a conflict-free Africa, preventing genocide, making peace a reality for all, and ridding the continent of wars as well as all forms of conflicts. Speakers at the event identified poverty, climate crisis, historical injustices, illicit financial flows and corruption, bad governance, and post-electoral disputes as some of the challenges that lead people to violent conflicts.
And by acting concretely on all these issues and their root causes, and by giving the necessary political, military, and diplomatic means, then we can silence the guns, and that is the only way we can win.
Ultimately, silencing the guns is not just about peace and security, but also about inclusive and sustainable development and human rights. I can guarantee the full support of the United Nations for this landmark initiative.
Highlights of the opening ceremony was the takeover of the chairmanship of the African Union by the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, from his Egyptian counterpart, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
As Africans living in this new era, we shoulder the greatest of all responsibilities to ensure that our wealth as a continent does not become our poverty, that our blessing does not become our curse, and that our endowment does not become our downfall.
Newly elected heads of state and government of Algeria, Botswana, Mauritius and Mauritania were formally introduced and welcomed to the African Union. During the summit, which continued behind closed doors, reports of the institutional reform of the African Union, continental free trade area, peace and security, as well as specific thematic issues will be received for consideration by the African leaders as they continue to enhance efforts at creating the Africa we want. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Heads of states and governments of the 55-member countries of the African Union have begun intensive deliberations aimed at silencing the guns towards creating conducive conditions for sustainable development on the continent. And also, President Muhammadu Buhari has underscored the centrality of science and technology in the nation's development process and promised adequate resource allocation for research and innovation. The president was speaking at a breakfast meeting of the Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in the South, organized by President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana in his capacity as chairperson. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that President Buhari also, with other African leaders, inaugurated the new headquarters building of the Committee of Intelligence and Security Services.
The Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in the South was established in 1994 to help developing countries boost their pace of socio-economic development through the application of science and technology. This breakfast meeting is a precursor to the Accra Forum of the 27-member countries to network, share insights and good practices, as well as strengthen their collective response towards achieving sustainable development.
Technology, is giving us an opportunity, and we just wish we have enough resources to fast-track the infrastructural development but we are acutely aware of our limitations and we are doing our best.
For Africa, the core relationship between technology, science and innovation and the needs of man must come together. I'm sure that if we commit ourselves and reposition COMSAT accordingly, it can help advance the attainment of Agenda 2063.
President Muhammadu Buhari thereafter joined other African leaders to inaugurate the headquarters of the Committee of Intelligence and Security Services, CISA, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, with a pledge to intensify security cooperation. The building was donated by the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, whose president, Obiang Nguema Basogo, performed the inauguration ceremony. The chairperson of CISA and Director General, Nigeria's National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmad Rufai Abubakar, described the building as a product of vision, generosity, partnership, and African solidarity.
Today, the dream of a befitting headquarters for CISA has become a reality. With this, we recommit ourselves to the collective task of making Africa safe and stable, while also continuing to work for global peace and security.
The Committee of Intelligence and Security Services of Africa, CISA, was established in Abuja 16 years ago to build bridges of cooperation, collaboration, brotherhood, and solidarity towards confronting emerging security challenges facing the African continent. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari joined President Obiang Nguema Basogo of Equatorial Guinea, Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, and other African leaders to inaugurate the headquarters of the Committee of Intelligence and Security Services, CISA, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, with a pledge to intensify security cooperation. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the side event of the inauguration of the head office building donated by the Republic of Equatorial Guinea took place on the margins of the 33rd AU Summit. The chairperson of CISA and Director General of the National Intelligence Agency of Nigeria, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, described the building as a product of vision, generosity, partnership, and African solidarity. President Buhari thanks the President of Equatorial Guinea for his generosity and the Prime Minister and government of Ethiopia for providing the piece of land on which the project is situated. The mandate of CISA is to provide the African Union Commission and its members' services with timely and insightful intelligence which would assist them in making informed decisions. It is also a platform where member services exchange intelligence, expertise and experiences while dealing with common threats that affect the continent. Nigeria and Canada have resolved to deepen further the highly beneficial relations between the two countries in critical economic sectors for the benefit of the people. This was the high point of a bilateral engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, on the margins of the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu again reports that a Nigerian-born Masai Usiri, coach of the victorious Toronto Raptors at the NBA Finals, accompanied the Prime Minister to the talks.
Apart from sharing values such as multiculturalism, federalism, and Commonwealth membership, Nigeria and Canada also enjoy people-to-people ties, which provides solid foundation for increased engagement. This meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is a deliberate attempt at enhancing the relations in critical economic sectors for the benefit of the two countries.
It's a real pleasure to sit down with President Buhari of Nigeria, an opportunity for us to engage with a leader in Africa. Really, your leadership and your reflection on the current situation challenging Africa, but also the potential and the opportunities is something I'm very much looking forward to getting into with you.